Hi everyone, my name is Shami. Welcome to Things to Write Home About. This is a channel that I created to share things that I have learned throughout my residency here in the US of A. I have been living here 17 years now, which is at this point half my age. And saying that out loud, I realize how much time I have spent here so far. And I'm grateful for being in this country and living here. This is my cat, Epelepelet, also known as Pele, right, Pele? He is very affectionate. He loves to play. He is so friendly. This is probably one of the most friendly cats you will find. Epelepelet acts like a dog sometimes because he is so friendly. He will roll around and invite you to pet him. He is so chill. In fact, so many people remark about how chill he is when they meet him. I digress though. So I have been living here 17 years, and in that time, there are things that I have learned that I would like to record in this video. One is that seasons change and that it's important to be aware of the changes in the seasons and how to act, how to take care of yourself. For example, when the summer is here, which just ended a few days ago now. We're in fall at the time I record this video, and it's been a beautiful summer. I'm very happy that I have had time to spend outside in nature, especially swimming in the ocean. I love living here in New England where I live because I have easy access to the ocean. And I love the ocean. I love going swimming in the ocean. It's one of my favorite things. So I've been spending a lot of time, in fact, this summer that just ended, swimming in the ocean. And I have been maximizing my time outside because I know that at some point the seasons will change and that the days will get shorter and darker. So the sun kind of disappears for a while. Which is why for me it's important to maximize vitamin D while I can in the summer. Which is why I like to spend time outside getting fresh air, getting vitamin D. By the way, side note, today I am wearing this gorgeous emerald green 100% silk dress, which I found at a thrift store. I love thrifting, and over the years I have learned how to thrift, how to find things in thrift stores, how to look and actually find things. And I'm very proud of this find because I have been looking for a 100% silk dress for a while, online and in thrift stores. I've been looking for new green silk dresses and used green silk dresses in thrift stores, right? And I'm lucky that I found this 100% silk dress at a thrift store. And get this, it was new when I found it because it still had the tag from the store and it had the original price on the tag, which means that either this dress was bought by somebody and never worn, or it was found by this thrift store, right? By the owner, whoever finds things for the thrift store, that they found it somewhere new and never used. So I'm very happy about this silk green, this green silk dress that I'm wearing right now, which is part of the inspiration of this video right now. So over the 100% green silk dress with lace detailing, I have this cotton coat that I designed myself, along with the head wrap and a pair of shorts that was made by my tailor, my amazing tailor, Vivian Couture, and she is amazing. So, end of side note. Going back to the point of this video, living in the US has taught me the importance of getting sunlight. As a dark-skinned, melanated person, I require sunlight, and I require sunlight in larger amounts than someone lighter skinned. So I make it a point to spend time outside, just soaking the sun in and feeling the warmth of the sun, because I know when the weather changes, when the seasons change from summer to autumn / fall and then to winter, I will need that warmth, that if I soak it in while the sun is here, then I'll be okay for the most part. Another point along the lines of vitamin D is to supplement with vitamin D supplements. I remember when I had just come here, I went to my primary healthcare physician and he checked my vitamin D levels. But before he even did that, he advised me to supplement with vitamin D, which I have come to learn is very important, because when the sun disappears, you have less exposure to the sun that would give you vitamin D. And as a darker skinned, melanated person, the sun in the winter is not sufficient for absorbing vitamin D, which means I have to supplement. So I began supplementing vitamin D early on, and I've found it to be life-changing. In fact, as I speak today, vitamin D is one of the constants that I try to maintain in my lifestyle. So I take vitamin D supplements and those help. I think that over the years, my mental health has improved greatly, and that might be in part because of my supplementation with vitamin D. The food. So coming here from Uganda, where I'm from, I was used to eating fresh fruit eating fresh food from the garden, a lot of vegetables, organically grown meat, and also sunlight. But what I what I never expected was to find the food here to be so different from home. No one prepared me for how different the food is here in the US. And by different, I mean that a lot of the food in the US is being grown with GMOs. In Uganda, for example, we grow food organically. But because food here is grown and raised with so many additives, GMOs, pesticides, who knows what else, it just isn't the same. For example, I realized in the recent years that I developed a dairy allergy, which is so weird to me because I grew up consuming dairy in all forms: ghee, fresh cow milk, butter, cheese, not so much. But I realized that the milk in this country has made me allergic to dairy. So now I am completely off of dairy. And when I do consume dairy, I will see the results really fast. So it's a good thing to live in America because there is so much opportunity in terms of studying, in terms of education and jobs. But there are downsides too, like with the food. And it's not just me. I met a lady at a Kenyan restaurant in Worcester, Massachusetts, and she mentioned that she also developed a dairy allergy because of the dairy here. And when she goes back home to Kenya, she doesn't have the allergy. She doesn't react the same way that she does to the dairy here. Wow, what does that tell you? So I have learned to pick and choose what I eat and to be very discerning about what I include in my diet. Sugar has been an issue in the past, so I cut it out. Now I veer more towards natural sugars, fruit, honey sometimes, but I have moved away from eating candy, cakes, cookies, all these things that are literally everywhere. You find them in the stores, you find them at restaurants, even at church. But I have learned to create that healthy boundary for myself, and I've noticed immense changes in how I feel and in how I look, and also in how I perform in my daily life. So for example, my skin is much clearer now that I cut out dairy, and when I do consume dairy, I break out. So that's out. Maybe this is point 4, but in terms of social life, I have also learned that there is a stark contrast between life in Uganda and life in America in terms of community. I come from a culture that is very community oriented, and I grew up around my extended family. So that means grandparents, aunties, uncles, cousins, family, friends, whoever, And we spent so much time together celebrating, and just doing life together. And then I come to the US, and guess what? It is so individualistic. And my dad did mention this to me when we just got here. He said, in this country, everyone just does their own thing. They mind their business. It's not like Uganda where you'll spend time with your aunties, with your uncles, cousins on the weekends. And I came to realize that it is indeed true, because this is a very capitalist society. So people are so focused on their work, their jobs. So going from one job to the next, working one shift and the next, which is not a bad thing. That's actually a good thing. If you do have a purpose, right? And if that's what works for you, sure, I don't knock that. But there is a loss when it comes to community and when it comes to people getting together. It's not as commonplace as I knew it to be back home. So in this country, it's more deliberate. It takes more effort to get together with family, to get together with friends even, because most times people are focused on work, and people sometimes work so much that they require downtime to rest, which means just going back home, watching TV and eating whatever is for dinner or lunch or breakfast, right? And because people work different shifts, there is a first shift, second shift, third shift. Sometimes it's just ongoing, right? So even if people live together in one household, there might be someone that works the first shift, and some other person works the second shift, the third shift. So it's just like ships passing in the wind. The other thing that I can think of that I've had to come to terms with in this country is the change of seasons. Winter especially, because winter is very cold. And having grown up in a place where it's summer year round, winter was quite a shock to my system, literally, because winter is very cold. When I just come to the US, I had to learn how to dress for the winter. I did not know how to dress. You cannot just dress like you do in the summer, unless, of course, you have trained your body to do that. But somebody like myself, I needed to learn how to layer. So dress up in layers from head to toe, literally. from having a hat on, wearing several layers of maybe an undershirt with a turtleneck, and then long underwear, or warm fleece leggings, and then warm socks. Sometimes I have to double up my socks. In fact, most of the times I have to double up my socks. And then having to find winter appropriate shoes, because when it snows, you want shoes that offer traction in the snow and that you won't easily slide in. You cannot just wear your summer shoes unless, of course, again, you have experience. So I had to learn how to dress for the winter. And 17 years now, I do have that down because I like to be comfortable. I like to be toasty. And because I'm on the move, I dress appropriately. There is a time I found myself walking in Cambridge, which is a city in Massachusetts. And I had on open-toed shoes and socks in the winter because I thought that, oh, I could just go from this place to that place, right? And then go back home. But it snowed that evening. It snowed, and the snow melted so fast. And when that happens, it turns into a slushy, which means that if you're not wearing the correct footwear, your feet are going to get soaked, which is what happened to me. So I have learned to dress appropriately for the winter because I know that when I'm warm, I can go farther. I am more grounded in how I move, and that I'm more comfortable and that I won't suffer. So for example, my fingers tend to get cold really fast, so I wear gloves, and I usually invest in a good pair of gloves. And if I have to wear more than one pair, I will do that happily. Oh my goodness, look at this cutie. Yeah, so those are some of the things that come to mind right now. Vitamin D, change of seasons, winter, eating correctly, and I'm going to say, yeah, community and the social aspect, those are huge. So those are things to take note of. And if someone is community oriented and they're coming from a country where they're used to being with people, then you might want to find a community for yourself. Find friends. I will have to talk about that in a different video, but it can be challenging to make friends in the US. I'm very lucky because I have made good friends here, very good friends. I've had my ups and downs with friendships and navigating friendships, but I have made a number of good friends that I can actually call my friends. So yes, that is what I have to share for today. And thank you so much for watching. Please come back.